I want to put the Gallup Trust in Media numbers on the screen and just say, if you haven't heard me explain media this way before, I want to just tell you, I see it as the difference between Johnny Carson and Stephen Colbert. Now, Gallup tracks trust in media every year since about the mid-1970s, and you will be shocked to learn that it's at a record low. But what's really interesting about this is that it's tied for a record low right now. As of last fall, Gallup's numbers of trust in media is tied for the record low that it hit in 2017. What's interesting about that? Well, the entire media basically said, we are going to get better after 2017. They basically said, we are going to do it differently. We are finally committing ourselves to figuring out why the trust is broken. Because guess what? The host of Celebrity Apprentice defeated the former Secretary of State in a presidential election, and nobody said it could happen. Now, Johnny Carson was the top-rated host in late night, despite being the least political, or I should say the least partisan, and the least partisan and the most funny. All right, that's just my perspective. Maybe disagree. But Stephen Colbert, during the Trump administration, Trump 1.0, was the top-rated host in late night, despite being the most partisan and the least funny. He was like least dedicated to the actual craft of comedy. He was doing lectures on his show every night. Why is that? Well, it's because monoculture is dead. There used to be a few options. There used to be three. So advertisers watching Johnny Carson wanted a show that could unify the country, that could get the most number of Americans to tune in so that they weren't tuning in to the other two networks, the other three networks, or reading a book, whatever it is. Now what you have to do, you can win late night, if you're Stephen Colbert, by cornering a niche of the American public. In his case, it was resistance wine moms who tuned in night after night for the wonderful stylings of quote-unquote comedy that Stephen Colbert offered them during Trump 1.0, which, as it turns out, was basically a big joke because he was telling everyone that Trump had colluded with Vladimir Putin to steal the presidency. So that's the way that I look at these things. And After Party is a combination of politics and culture and news. And we want to do a little bit of politics and a little bit of late night, and we just want to have fun doing it.